Alright, so hi, my name is Saul. My partner's behind the camera. His name is Ricardo. And basically what I'm going to be going over today with whoever's watching this video, I'm going to be going over my final project for EE478. Basically what me and my partner chose to do was to drive this DC motor down here using pulse width modulation. What pulse width modulation is, if you take a look over at this diagram, what it does is it depends on the switching state of this external PMOD, and depending on the switching state of this external PMOD, it allows for a particular usage of this 9-volt DC battery. So, for example, if we leave the switching state of this PMOD on for 10% of the time, it allows for 10% usage of the 9-volt battery that we used to power the entire system. So, for example, in this diagram, it says if we were to use a 3.3 volt battery and we chose to have a switching state that was on for 10% of the period, we would be utilizing 10% of the original voltage that we chose to use to power the system. So at 10% of 3.3 volts, we'd be using 0.33 volts. At 50% of 3.3 volts, we'd be using 1.75 volts. At 75% of 3.3 volts, we will be using 2.48 volts. And as you can tell, the way that the percentage is dictated is for how long we choose the switching state to be on for. And so we'll move on now to more of the functionality of the motor. And basically the way that we activate the entire system is we turn on switch 3. And so once we turn on switch 3, the motor will begin to start up. And right now, when switch 3 is on, it is at top speed. Now, in order for us to get the second fastest speed, we need to activate switch 0. So once switch 0 is on, the speed of the rotating flag will slow down. And in order to achieve the third fastest speed, we need to turn off switch 0 and turn on switch 1. Once we are here, the flag slows down again and we are at the third fastest speed. Finally, after that, to achieve the slowest speed possible, we continue to leave switch 3 on and we turn on switch 2. And now we are finally at the lowest speed possible. As you can see, the flag starts to rotate a lot slower. And we are at our final speed, which is our slowest speed possible. And finally, to revert back to a standard off state, we need to turn off all the switches. So we'll go ahead and turn off all the switches, and then we will reset using this middle reset button. We'll reset the whole system, and we will finally be at a state where the motor is motionless. And that would be basically an entire summary of our project for EE478. Thank you.